It's over a year since we released CFD Direct from the Cloud, which is our Amazon Web Services marketplace product that provides a pre-configured system with OpenFOAM, ParaView and supporting software. I'm going to demonstrate the new command line interface to deploy OpenFOAM workloads rapidly on CFD Direct from the Cloud. I'm using the Pittsdaily backward-facing step case as an example. The command line interface tool is called CFDDFC and it's installed on this system. It uses the AWS command line interface, which needs to be configured to enable the user to launch and run EC2 instances. If I start the CFDDFC command and type that, if I hit tab a couple of times, it'll then print all the subcommands that are available to me. And the first one that we can look at is the config command, which just can confirm to us that the AWS command line interface is installed correctly. If I go back to the original command now and I type the launch subcommand, if we hit tab a couple of times, it offers us the different options when we launch. One thing we can do is to select the instance option, and with that we can list instances. So this gives us the full list of instances that we can use when we launch. Now if I go back to that command and decide I want to launch a particular instance, so if I go C4 2x large, I'll add the anywhere option, which just allows me to log into the instance from any IP address. The default is that you're restricted to your own IP address. Anyway, with that command, if we just launch, it asks me whether I want to create my new instance. I just confirm that I want to do that, and it starts to construct the instance. Now it's using my default profile. It's launching in the EU Central 1 region. It creates a key file, a security group, sets the volume size by default. Again, you can configure that, and it then launches using the spot pricing, and it gives you an estimate of the price based on the last 3 days average spot pricing. The spot request is made and it's fairly quickly fulfilled, and then the system goes in to launch the instance and initialize the networking and so on. So we'll just stop now while that's initializing. It'll take a couple of minutes and then we'll come back once it's initialized. So after a couple of minutes, the instance is launched on AWS and the SSH connection is tested. And at that point, we're then able to use the instance. So if we go back to the command line interface, the next command we can try out is the push command, where we can simply push the Pittsdaily case files up to the instance. It asks me if I want to create the directory. I say yes. It tells me what the transfer cost is, and I confirm that and confirm to push up the files. Now with the case now pushed up onto the instance, there's really 3 ways I can go about running the simulations, workloads on that instance. The first one is that I can just directly log in to the instance with the login subcommand. That gives me an SSH login there, in which I can just, let's say, go into the case directory and for example run the meshing component of the simulation. So I can run block mesh here. I'll just log out from that and then show you the second way in which we can run simulations, and that's using the run command, where I can just issue commands from the local machine that are then run on the remote instance. So if I just want to run the CFD simulation with SimpleFOAM, I can do that. So there's SimpleFOAM running on the instance and the log information coming back to my local machine. The third way in which we can interact with the instance is via a remote desktop using the desktop subcommand. So this will launch us a remote desktop that connects to the instance. And in this remote desktop we can do the usual kind of things. We can open up a terminal, and we could go into the PITS daily case directory, and then, for example, we could visualize the PITS daily case using ParaView. Just quickly demonstrate apply, just to load in the case there, and then color by velocity. And if we fast forward to the end of the simulation, you'll get the familiar velocity distribution colored in the image there. So I'll shut that down and close the remote desktop. So there's the three ways of interacting with the case. Now once my simulations are complete, I can pull the data back to my local machine with the pull subcommand. Again, it estimates the transfer costs before asking me whether I'd like to proceed. I confirm that I do, and the data comes back to my local directory. Once I've done all my simulation and I don't need the instance anymore, I can just finally run the terminate subcommand, which will go through the process of terminating the instance. It will remove the key file, it'll remove the security group, it terminates the instance, waits till it's conducted the checks to ensure that the termination is complete, and then it will it'll complete this command. So that's the CFDDFC command line interface in action.